Well, welcome to the Countdown to Full-Time Show. We're live here from Satsuma, Florida, at the Just Add Dirt Motorsports Park. My name is Dan Baer, joined by Ron Stone and Charles Posch. And guys, we are in for a big show here tonight.
Looking forward to it, Dan. It's a beautiful day here in Florida. The sun has been shining all day long. We have had action nonstop out on this track, both in terms of a little bit of pulling this afternoon, but also reworking the dirt to prepare it for Session 4, the final of the Grand National Southern Swing.
Most certainly the most beautiful day of the week so far. Here, going to cap off a great 2 weekends of pulling action here, Grand National pulling action with the NTPA here in Florida. And speaking of the track, Charles, I walked across the track there. I think we're going to lay down a lot more power tonight, specifically on that upper track on the top side. Not near as squishy as it was yesterday. I think we're going to see some good runs laid down on this Florida dirt tonight.
Yeah, I tend to agree. They were here working it very early this morning. I think they started sometime around 8 a.m. and got after it. And visually, even from here, it looks different.
Yeah, ran some local classes a little bit earlier on here today. Like I say, guys, I think that track is ready to go. Stop number 4 here on the NTPA Grand National Circuit for 2026. We're in Satsuma, Florida, about an hour or so south of the Jacksonville area. We were in Zellwood last weekend. We saw some great competition. But, guys, the thing that I find most interesting about this stop here in Satsuma, we were an hour and a half south to Zellwood, but the surface is totally different.
Yeah, I agree. Last week when we had in Zellwood, it gave the appearance of being very sandy. But once they started getting out on it, they found that it stayed together. It took horsepower. We had our 4.1s carrying front end across the class. Mini rod sled, more weight in it than ever before. That's just how it worked.
Yeah, I think the pullers I spoke to last night, we were speaking about Zellwood in particular last weekend, and was it a track like we normally see up north? No. But for a Florida track, they said it was actually a pretty good track last week. So they said it was a little bit hard, packed a little bit too hard, but other than that, it was a good track. This track here, good last night, even better tonight, I think. I think we're looking forward to a good show.
Yeah, out here on this track, last night, talking to drivers, it wound up being kind of more of a luck of the draw sort of a class. Early runs tend to be favorable on it. But as we said, we acknowledged that and went to work on it, and it'll be a brand new challenge, both for our competitors and our sled operators to handle this Satsuma dirt here at Just Add Dirt Motorsports Park.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we've got the 4 classes of Grand National competition. Let's kind of talk about what the fans going to see here tonight. Kicking it off here on the grandstand side, we'll have the super stock diesel truck guys. What a class this has turned into.
Yeah, it is. All of them that I know of, all 8, are returning from last night. We didn't lose anybody. There were some issues for a couple. Easily solvable things, and they are back there in the staging lanes ready to go.
Yeah, they were throwing some rooster tails last night, these super stock diesels. This was a violent, the pullers it was a violent reaction to the dirt here. The rooster tails were just incredible, and it looked like they were fighting and scratching for every last inch. I think they're going to have a little more traction tonight in the super stock diesel pickup class.
And then over here on the infield side, we'll have the multi-engine modified tractor, 6,000 horsepower, the most powerful vehicles we've got on site here this weekend. And boy, they have put on a show.
They were all over the place last night. We had towering runs. We had, unfortunately, some with a few problems, and then we also had a guest star that showed up to run here in that class.
Yeah, looking forward to the modified tractors kicking us off here. The most powerful class, as Dan spoke to there, minus Cletus McFarland tonight. So I think Chase or Dave. Do we know Chase or Dave's going to be behind the wheel tonight?
Chase.
Chase will be behind the wheel. So no Cletus McFarland. We'll see what Chase can do with it here in Satsuma.
So then we'll kick things back over to the grandstand side. We'll have the Smokers on hand, the limited pro stock tractors, first year on the Grand National Circuit. They came out in force, and we've kind of been losing them here as we've been running them, but we've still got a good field of them.
Yeah, we have, but that's part of the challenge. Everybody's pushing super hard, running their equipment at 100%, and it shows the commitment that they are making and understanding that this is an opportunity to put your name in the record books for that very first championship season.
Yeah, good to have the 4-1s on the Grand National Circuit here. Like you said, attrition been a factor here. We've lost a few. We saw a few pull out today. So I think 8 fewer tonight vehicles in total in all 4 classes than we had last night. So survival of the fittest at play here.
And then rounding out our show here tonight will be, of course, the Wild and Rolly, the mini rods. And once again, they have come out in force last couple of years. The numbers have been excellent. And we still got, I think, 17 or 18 of them ready to go here tonight.
Yeah, the minis were probably the most diverse class in terms of track selection last night. They were putting runs all over the place. We had left of center up into the left corner. We had chalk walkers down here on the infield. They were trying everything.
Yeah, they were using every bit of the real estate in between the chalk boundaries. They're trying to find the right line and find the most traction out here on the track. It was a great class of minis last night. Looking for the same tonight.
And, of course, we see our weight transfer machines down there in the start line ready to go. Now, we got a lot of new viewers and a lot of folks on hand that have never been to a pull before. Let's give them some of the give them some of the rules.
So the very basics of this form of competition, we have no shot clock. There is no speed limit. There's no stopwatches. We don't care about any of that. The only metric is how far down the track did you go. However you get that done, he or she who goes farthest wins. And behind you is the vehicle that ultimately always does win, our weight transfer sled.
Yeah, the weight transfer sled, of course, this is the biggest question the most asked question I think I get from people that have never been to a truck and tractor pull is, what are they pulling? The weight transfer machine, we commonly call it a sled or a pulling sled, actually gets harder to pull as it comes down the track. The weight in the box on the sled moves forward. Now, this is a simple definition here. Moves forward and puts that rolling weight as a dragging weight on the pan. It's a little more intricate than that when we get into the hydraulics and the switches and things on there, Charles. Is that sled actually transfers all of its weight on the backside onto the pan as well, making it more efficient than if it didn't transfer that weight. So we can make that sled lighter than the old sleds of yesterday where they just put all the weight they possibly could in the box. This sled will actually transfer almost 100% of its weight onto that pan.
Yeah, absolutely made the sport, totally different from the dragging sleds back in the 70s, early 80s, up through now. We've got the speed sleds, they call them. And fans, you're going to see also, we've got, for the mini rod tractors a little bit later on, we've got a special quarter scale. It is basically the same operational sled, just in quarter scale.
Yeah, those sled operators, they've got essentially 5 tools at their disposal that they can change on that piece of machinery, and they have to do setup work for competition just like the pullers do. The pullers are looking at tire pressure. Where did I put my weights on my chassis? What is my drawbar height based on what I think the track is going to give me? Gear selection and the tune-up in the engine. A lot of those same variables are applied to the sleds for how they function.
Yeah, momentum is key. Momentum is definitely key when you talk about speed. You talk about the speed sled or a race sled. Getting that thing going as fast as you possibly can at mid-track is key. You want that momentum to carry out there on the end when it gets really heavy.
And fans, as you can see out on the track right now, we've got it lined out to 350 feet, 43 feet wide on the tracks here, and we got the white lines out there. Now, you fans here in Satsuma, I would recommend you to start sitting down there at the finish line end of the track. We know quite a few are down there at the starting line area. Well, a lot of the action you're going to see here tonight is going to be down towards that finish line end.
Plenty of good seating down here. That grandstand is open behind our camera operator. And lots of action down here.
Yeah, ideal spot down here, somewhere around that 300-foot mark. If you put yourself between 250 and 350, that's about ideal for a fan's perspective if I was coming to watch the pull.
Something to point out that you can also see going on right now, we got some of our super stock four-wheel drive drivers out there with probes. They are not looking for buried gas lines. There are none there. But what they are looking for is the sweet spot in the track. They're looking for something that will tell them about what line they want to go down. So that's what they do, and you'll see the conga line come out at some of the bigger events where the turnout is large. If over 30 of them, they'll just be zigzagging their whole way down following each other, and no two will talk to each other, and if they do, one of them's lying about what they're feeling.
Now, guys, let's talk a little bit about last night's Session 1 show. We saw what a program of tractor truck pulling, but we got to talk about Cletus.
We do. It was neat to see him come out and be as excited and enthused about it as he was, but aside from that, he took his preparation very, very seriously. The video's already posted up there. You can watch it on his YouTube channel after we're done tonight and see what he had to think about it. But he paid a lot of attention both yesterday and throughout the week to the coaching he was getting from Chase Richardson about how to handle one of those twin-engine modifieds.
Yeah, for the man's first time ever going down the pulling track on a 6,000-pound light modified tractor at a Grand National event, he immediately recognized at the end of his run the first thing that he did wrong. And that speaks volumes to his knowledge of motorsports, but he knew. He said, I think I got in it too hard, too fast, and I think that's what hurt me. Still ended up 5th in competition at a Grand National event.
Yeah, and definitely wants to go back and do it again. He's looking at other vehicles that maybe down the road he'll do. But right now he's worried about drag racing. Got a big drag race to worry about here this weekend. Looks like he qualified, so he's good to go.
Yeah, I think he was qualified number 1 in Leroy and stick shift down there at TX2K.
Yeah, good life to be Cletus McFarland, I think. That he just travel around and do all these motorsports things looks like a good life to me.
Yeah, I'll sign up for it for sure. Now, guys, last night in competition, of course, the light modified class, we talked about Cletus finishing up number 5. So, Chase Smith picking up his first Grand National win last year. He had a 3rd place last week down in Zellwood, but I'll tell you, he really followed it up this week with a great run.
Yeah, we've seen him on the Grand National Tour in the past, and he's always been very, very tough in the state of Ohio, and so a very nice breakout win for him. I'm happy for the team. They certainly have earned it, and hopefully tonight he can shine one more time as brightly as his fenders do.
Yeah, I couldn't help but notice when I put the microphone in front of him down here watching the last puller come down the track that could have taken him out of that top spot. I couldn't help but notice it might have been a little bit of emotion right there pent up inside where, he'd been chasing this for a while. Finally got one last night.
Absolutely, and the first-time winners didn't stop there. As we go in the super stock diesel truck competition, this guy, he's been, we saw a test run last weekend. He came out in competition, finished up number 2, and then takes the big win last night.
It's quite a thing at this level of competition, and as we refer to it, a driver's class. It is tough to manage that class. He was able to get his first Grand National win at the age of 16 in only his 2nd start. Very, very impressive.
Yeah, considering his first pull was last Friday night and he gets a win last night, yeah, kudos to that young man. He did a great job.
Yeah, absolutely. And, of course, young Blake DeBrew we're talking about there in super stock diesel truck competition. Now, mini rod side. Mini rods, we saw Kevin Campbell come back, and, he's been a force over the last couple of years here. And last night the team really shined with 2 top 5 finishes for the team.
Yeah, he did. Wild card kind of had been last season, and I think as far as 2025 results for Kevin went, he would rather just forget about it and shine the light on Lindsay instead. But that was a get-right pass for him last night.
Yeah, great run for the team. I would say that's where the party was in the pits last night, was in the Campbell area there.
Yeah, and of course, limited pro stock competition last night. We saw Brian Miller, a busy week. I mean, this gentleman went back to the state of Iowa, worked on the tractor, brought it back here, but a well-deserved victory for that team.
Yeah, popped the turbocharger in competition last Saturday night and was concerned that anything had gotten into the engine and wanted to verify. Did not have necessarily the resources here to take it apart and address those things. So it went back to the doctor, to Denny Healy, to get looked at.
Yeah, pulling in a huge class like that last night. He was very early in the class, and he sat back here in that top spot what seemed like forever. And that's got to be torture to sit there and watch all of those other competitors coming after you like that.
Yeah, held on for that victory. And, of course, we've got a gentleman coming up here next. We'll call him to the stage. And one of the newest Grand National competitors on the circuit. He's got a couple of these high-powered mini-modified tractors, as we'll bring in Mr. Butch Poland here out of the province of Ontario. And, Butch, tell us how you got started in the sport of tractor and truck pulling.
I guess my father-in-law kind of got me into it. My brother-in-law, Ryan, that pulls here, they were pulling a small tire mini mod, and I would go around and help them, and I was kind of the Joe boy running around grabbing the tools and fueling it up. And then one day we were at a pull, and they said, "Hey, it's your turn to drive." I said, "Oh, that's a bad idea. You're going to make me buy one now." So I drove it. I didn't do very good, but then I was hooked. So and here we are, and yeah, we're having a great time. We're loving it, and now we're just happy to be here pulling with the best guys in the world. So we couldn't ask for any more than that. So, yep.
When you went from not doing too good to not only buying one, you've got 2, and then in the off season, trade it up perhaps.
Yeah, so we really struggled the last couple of years with the red chassis. It just things weren't going right, and then I got talking to Kevin in the off season, and he had the one for sale, and it kind of matches our green tractor, so we decided to grab 2, and we're going anyway, so we might as well have 2, and hopefully we get a good run out of one of them. So was the plan there. So
inspired choice with the gray scheme to replace red. We like it. We approve.
Yeah, well, thank you. We like it too. So
yeah, absolutely. And of course, I always like to ask the question: where did the name come from? You've got bull hauler green or gray and bull hauler green. Bull hauler. Tell us about it.
So we truck cattle all over Canada and the U.S. We're hauling bulls all over, back and forth, California, Alberta, Saskatchewan, the Midwest U.S. We're all over the place. So that's what we do every day to pay the bills so we can come play here. So lucky to have great help at home to keep the trucks running. So we're down here playing. So we're hauling a lot of show cattle to New York next week. So that's what we do every day.
Definitely a work hard, play hard scenario for you. So when it is time to play hard, what is the intention for 2026 with the Bull Haulers?
Our intention is to run the full schedule if we can. We got a busy season. My kids are at home. My kids are 12 and 10. So my boy, he's pretty hot and heavy into baseball. So we're all over with that. But the intention is to run the green and the gray all season. So that's the plan unless we break something. So that's our hope. It's always been our dream to run the season, and it's a great group. They've been awesome to us, the whole mini class, and all the other classes too. So, that's the hope this year. So.
And of course, on the Grand National Circuit.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay, so we saw last night, the Bull Hauler Gray in that number 2 spot, career best finish for you on the Grand National Tour. But you also followed that up with Bull Hauler Green in the number 6 spot.
Yeah, no, we got a little lucky last night. We hit our setup, so I think Kevin and I were talking after. We were just in the right place at the right time in the order. Kevin was first and we were second, but back to back, and we're just a lucky spot and lucky draw. So, and we were happy where the green tractor ended. So, yeah, it's a tough class. So, if you can be in the top 10, I mean, that's a win for us guys. So, we're still learning lots and just having fun out here.
What's going to be different for you guys tonight, being that we've inverted classes? You're on the same side, but we've inverted things. Approach going to be different, or are you looking for just kind of, it seemed to us, runs all over the place and just see what develops?
Yeah, well, we're the test hook with the gray tractor, so we tried a couple little different things with it, and we'll see what happens. If we can put a good pass on it, then that'd be great. We'd be happy with that and go home in one piece. So I guess that's the ultimate goal. And see if we make an adjustment on the green tractor. It's a little later in the class, so see what the track does. So I think it's nice to pull first and get a little option there. So
now, Butch, I got to ask you still have the 2-wheel drive?
Yeah, we still have the 2-wheel drive. We bought it to play a little bit more at home because we can pull almost every weekend at home, and there's a couple clubs at home that we pull with, and a great bunch of people, and everything's within a couple hours. So we're planning on getting it out. We stole the motor out of it and put in Ryan's tractor to come down here. So we'll see what happens, but that's the plan, to run it a little bit at home. So yeah.
Well, Butch, we're going to let you go, get back to the staging lanes to get ready to go. But let me tell you, if you do make the podium tonight, don't forget your boy.
All right, thanks guys, appreciate it.
All right, fans. So Butch Poland joining us here tonight, of course, mini rod competitor out of the great province of Ontario, Canada, joining us here, and got a bunch of Canadian competitors joining us here this weekend, and glad to have them all on hand as we go to one of the newer mini rod competitors to one of the older competitors and Limited Pro Super Farm, Kevin Lindström.
He's not older, he's experienced.
Yes, there we go.
There you go, right?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So, Kevin, let's talk about how you got going many, many years ago. Gone through the Super Farm ranks, now in the Limited Pro. But how did it all get started for you?
Well, when I was a kid, I used to go with my dad, and I'm really dating myself now. The weight transfer, they didn't have one. It was weight men. So they stood by the stake, and then, they just come on. But I watched on the sidelines with my mom, and, I made my first trip down the track in 1977 in Ellsworth. I had my dad's 76. And there was a young man named Brett Berge there with an I-76, but his visited Hypermax, and it ran really well. So.
We've been watching you for a long, long time, and you've always been consistent in your approach and in the presentation of the tractor as well. Is there ever in your mind an opportunity where you think, you know what, I want to experiment, maybe try something way different, or you just keep iterating and evolving?
Well, I don't know. We try some different things sometimes, but it's like if you you're trying to find a groove and then don't veer too far off from it. We did that a few years ago, and when we had the 2 tractors, and boy, we didn't change much on either one of them, and we did well. That's, you start points pulling, and then you go for the Hero Zero move, and sometimes the Hero Zero move doesn't work.
That can be true, and you're right on that. You are, I don't know, we've been watching you for a long, long time, and always been consistent in your approach and in the presentation of the tractor as well. Is there ever in your mind an opportunity where you think, you know what, I want to experiment, maybe try something way different, or you just keep iterating and evolving?
Well,
one of the more successful in 4.1, and now you've got this opportunity before you to step onto the Grand National stage. What does it mean to you and the rest of your class to be out here and doing this?
Well, what a great honor, you know. I mean, when they picked us to come down here and stuff, it's a pretty big honor that we could be able to do this. And, you know, I was a little concerned. I still, you know, worry about the state and region levels having enough tractors to keep them going. But you know, we picked up some tractors I've never seen before, and I really like seeing them. I mean, it's something different, and you know, we're seeing tracks we've never seen before. And that's pretty awesome too. So, and you can't beat the weather.
Yeah, you didn't. It didn't take you long to figure out how to pull in Florida. We could see the results already.
Well, we had a good weekend last week in Zellwood, and I was pretty happy with it last night. We got sucked a little bit to the right, but you know, it is what it is. Hopefully we can. My goal was not to bury myself in points down here, and that was my goal.
So now moving along with the Grand National Circuit now, is that the big carrot now? I mean, I've talked to you at the farm show in the Winter Circle. I mean, you've done, multiple regional championships. Is that the next thing on Kevin Lindström's to-do list?
Yeah, it's kind of lit a new fire underneath me, something there to try and stuff. I don't know how many more years I'm going to do this. My boy, Matt, he'll be here later, but he's the next generation for this. I mean, he really likes pulling, and we don't know how much of, we're just going to keep doing what we're doing, and, Bowling Green, that's kind of a carrot. You'd be kind of go pull there. Last year I almost had the opportunity to go pull there, or watch for pull there, and the gentleman's tractor didn't cooperate, so we didn't get to go. Well, then this whole deal came up, and we kind of made a decision. Well, my wife had found out that 4-1s are in Zellwood and Satsuma here, and she was already booking the house. It's like, hey, wait a minute here.
There was no changing her mind, right?
No, that was pretty much the decision was made. We're coming to Florida, whether we were Grand National Regional Hook or we were coming to Florida, I guess. So.
Yeah, I don't blame you there for that one. I'll ask you the same thing that I asked Butch. We're flipping the order, but same track. They spent a lot of time on that high side today working that third over. What have you seen? Have you been able to walk it and gather an idea for tonight?
Yeah, I walked it here a little bit ago. Anyway, I walked a little bit ago. I kind of idea where I want to go, but I don't know if it'll be there. After the forward drives get done, we might have to change our mind. I mean, I'm not 100% sure the early hook is the answer.
Now, Kevin, you come from Ellsworth, Wisconsin, had the opportunity years ago to go up there, the curd capital of the world. That's what they call it. I actually went to the museum there. But you're involved with the regional pull up there in Ellsworth, aren't you?
Yeah, they started it. It'll be our 20th year this year. And Doug was there when he started it. They got me involved in it. And I always say I'm just a dirt worker. I don't, but we got a real good group up there. They really work hard at it. And we've done some good things for the kids and stuff. And when they started, the FFA program was going to disappear in Ellsworth. And it's like, well, we're still a rural community, and we started the alumni. And we started small, and we worked our way up. And it's a lot of work. I'm always glad when it's done, but I do look forward to it every year. So.
Absolutely, and then your class will be running up there, a Grand National class. That'll be pretty cool in front of the hometown crowd.
Yeah, we got fortunate. We booked the class for up there, and I know it's only one night show for the guys, but I hope we can make it work. And we do have Sunday for a backup day if we get rained out. So I hope we can make it work. I mean, it'd be nice to have a nice crowd, or a nice bunch of tractors there.
Being up there, saw the facility. Laid out excellent for tractor and truck pulling. It's just a beautiful park-type atmosphere there when you pull in and everything. And like I say, if anybody's up that way and, coming up Region 3 competition there in Ellsworth, I'd say check it out because it's a heck of a pull.
Yeah, well, thank you. And I'm pretty proud of our fairgrounds. It's we get around the country, and it's one of the top fairgrounds we get to. Far as it's just got trees, and we can pit the whole. We'll have 100 hooks there. We'll pit the whole works out in the pin field. So it works out nice that way. It just as long as the weather holds, we do struggle with weather up there.
Part of life being in the Midwest, and sometimes that'll happen for you with being Grand National now in the hometown track. Any extra hometown pressure?
You know how it is in hometown.
Oh, yes.
It's usually a jinx. But I always say you should have a freebie for the hometown pole. You know, Jeff Ball's going to have his in Lancaster, too, and it's like you don't concentrate really on your tractor because you got all these other things you got to be dealing with all the time. You know, it's tough.
Yeah, I've avoided driving at my hometown fair. I've only done it twice, but I've usually tried to avoid it because I'm announcing, trying to help out, and my mind's not in it, and yeah, not good.
Well, Kevin, thanks for spending a little bit of time with us here on our countdown show. We know you got to get back to the stage and lanes and get ready to go. What hook position we got here tonight? Oh, he's number one. Okay,
well,
we're not gonna hold him to it.
We're not. Yep. No announcer jinx. We're not doing it.
Well, thanks, Kevin, for joining us here. Kevin Lindström and that Hyper Harvester. Look for him here tonight as we get ready to go pulling here tonight in Satsuma for stop number 4 on the Grand National Circuit.
And I'd like to thank Mark Kelsey for all the work he's done. I don't think any promoter has ever worked any harder to make a track than that gentleman.
Absolutely.
The last 2 weekends.
Yes, absolutely.
My hat's off to him. You know, he's done a lot of work.
Yeah, I think tonight he's actually going to relax a little bit and run his light super for. So
it was out in the shed back there earlier, so I think the intention is it back there now. Okay, good. Thank you, Kevin.
Yep. Well, that'll conclude the countdown, the pull time show. We'll get everything set up trackside here, fans, and we'll be going in just a couple minutes here as we start session number 2 here in Satsuma. All right, ladies and gentlemen, just a couple minutes away from spinning that first tire here in Satsuma. Of course, we've got the Southern Swing here for 2026. As you can see trackside, we've got the sleds just kind of getting them ready to go here for tonight, fans. We talked a little bit about the sleds earlier, and just kind of getting that track ready to go.
This is part of Grand National procedure to do something like this, where we bring particularly a heavier tractor out here. We want the sled to be a little bit on the heavy side, and we want to what we call bed in the track. We'll make a pass down, a sweep down each part of the track, really to level things off. Nothing, as hard as they work with road graders and everything else, nothing gets this track ready better than that sled itself.
Running that big heavy sled up and down that track there, packs it in nice and good, gets the bottom of that pan cleaned off, no rust or anything on the bottom of that pan going to get in the way. We're going to be ready for pulling here in about 27 minutes. Green flags are going to fly, and we're going to have some pulling action here in Satsuma.
Absolutely. And once again, fans, we do recommend, the end of the track here. We've got that 350-foot track out here today. We do recommend coming down to the end of the track here. A lot of the action you're going to see here tonight will happen down here at the big end.
Indeed. This is where it all happens at. This is the far end, and it's a game of inches, and this is really where the excitement tends to come into play as well. You'll see the fist pumps from the drivers who are happy with the pass. You'll see the dejected stare 3,000 miles into the future when things do not. It happens down here on this end.
Yep, a lot of crews and family along with the pullers here this weekend and last weekend, of course, so you'll see a lot of elation from those crews from the sidelines over here on the infield as well. Very cool to see those celebrations when their puller does the right thing and takes the lead out there.
So just going to finish up here with the final drag over here on the infield track with our track boss sled here tonight. And, gentlemen, we got to talk about our sled operators here for the last, 3 events that we've had. This is event number 4, but they've been right on the ball.
They absolutely have. Mark Bingham on the Mark sleds. He's been in the green one. Travels all around the Midwest, based out of Ohio, I believe it is, and does a fantastic job. He's the one on this pit side track both yesterday and today, now in the midst of a test run. Owns a fleet of them that travels around doing this.
Yeah, very few resets. We've seen very good settings last weekend and this weekend. Kudos to those sled operators getting them set right the very first time. You don't want to see somebody go out there and ruin a $50,000, $100,000 plus engine out there and then have the sled get reset and they don't get to rehook. So good job for the sled operators in getting these settings right initially each and every night.
And, of course, we got to talk about, that mini sled out there. Randy Fishbaugh owns that out of the state of Ohio. We saw Von Bauer operating it here all week. And last weekend down in Zellwood, they actually had the most weight in that sled that they have ever had for mini tractors. Kind of a unique situation down there.
It really was to have that occur. And then our red sled, Mr. Thomas, out of Ohio, the track boss, has been our left side both at Zellwood and here at Satsuma, doing a great job. We've been flipping back and forth. Classes on them sometimes, so there's been multiple challenges they've had to face as well, as we talked about earlier, to be ready for our competition vehicles.
Yeah, guys, those sled operators, we don't give them enough kudos here. We talk about the pressure on them to get the sled settings just right, and we see some wild rides out there, and we're always focused on the tractor or the truck. Every once in a while, when you see one of those wild rides, take a look at the cab of that sled. Those sled operators get bounced around in there like crazy. They go for some pretty wild rides themselves.
And while they're pinballing around in that cab and things are going wrong in front of them, the very best among them will still get that red light on and get things shut down very, very quickly.
So once again, we're here in Satsuma, Florida, about an hour south of the Jacksonville area, an hour and a half or so north of the Orlando area where we were last week. And we're glad you fans decided to come out and spend a beautiful Saturday night with us. Track conditions here are going to be great.
Yeah, I'm expecting some pretty good things standing out here now in the midst of this dirt. The real secret of the sport is being able to come out here and read this track and understand what it may have to offer you. Sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong. It's kind of the dark art of the sport, track reading is. Everybody will tell you that they are good at it, and you are not. It's part of the psych-out game that they play with one another.
So, fans, what you're going to see here tonight, of course, NTPA Championship pulling at its best. Now, the first time that it's been down here in Florida since 1979, that was the last Grand National pull held down here. As you can see, we're going to run 4 classes here tonight. Super stock diesel trucks and the limited pro tractors will be over here on the grandstand side. Over here, we'll have the 2-engine light modifieds, and we'll finish it out with the modified minis. And, guys, you talk about variety in classes. We've got it here tonight.
We certainly do, and the pressure is on. These ladies and gentlemen understand what is involved with doing this. This is the granddaddy of them all, being on the national tour, and there is, at the home office, the Hall of Fame wall littered with legends of the past. Everybody here is trying to get their visage hung on that wall at some time in the future.
All right, vehicle stage back there over in turns 1 and 2 of the old racetrack here, the Putnam County Racetrack. And, of course, Mark Kelsey, the owner of this facility, the Just Add Dirt Motorsports Park. And Mark was going to try to join us out here. I don't see him out here right now, but he's got some big plans for this facility. And the fans here in the local area, I'll tell you, it's, stay tuned what he's got going here.
Yeah, he's been working away at one point. He's actually right there on the wobble wheel in the orange shirt. So if you see him at some point walking around the property, he's not going to stand still long, but make sure you say thank you.
Yeah, even if you run into a local Walmart, just say hi and say, hey, we were there at that tractor pull, because great competition here tonight. Fans, we are just about ready to turn it loose.
Ron, final thoughts before we kick this thing off?
Looking forward to seeing a lot of diesel smoke, all the torque from the limited pro stocks, all the torque and high winding diesel horsepower in the super stock diesel pickups, the screaming wild minis, and all that brute horsepower from the light modified tractors. I'm ready, guys. That's a nice thing about announcing a tractor pull. I'm also a fan. I'm having fun when I'm announcing.
That's it.
Absolutely. Well, guys, I'd say it's time to meet the drivers. Let's get all those drivers in line here, fans, and we'll tell you who they are and where they're from as we get things kicked off here tonight's program.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's introduce you to our super stock diesel 4x4 drivers. Starting first from River Falls, Wisconsin, with Cummins Killer 3, Craig Dickey.
Coming up next to us out of Bloomingdale, Ohio, the trencher, Jeremy Yeager.
Starting third is going to be the hired gun from Swayze, Indiana, driving Trump, Trip Hazley.
Coming to us out of Fostoria, Ohio, the top shelf, and Nick Gillette.
Starting next will be Kevin Armstrong out of Burnsville, Virginia, and totally out of control.
In his second truck of the night, fans out of River Falls, Wisconsin, the Cummins Killer 2, Craig Dickey.
Next up will be Jaden Littman driving the Something Approved GMC out of New Martinsville, West Virginia.
And fans, our winner one night ago out of New Franken, Wisconsin, this man 16 years old, the flammable Blake DeBrow.
And Blake, I'm going to slide in here with you for a moment. Absolute excellent job controlling the emotions last night, handling things on a tricky track, and getting the job done. What are you hoping for tonight?
Well, I'm hoping for at least a good pass. I'll be grateful with that, but we're obviously going for the number one again.
Sure, that's it. We all are trying to go for. Do you have a plan in place? You don't have to tell me what it is, but a thought in your mind, or is it going to maybe get changed by what these guys do behind you?
Well, I have a thought right now, but it always can change.
Always can. You trust in your family and the equipment. Anybody you need to thank for getting you to this point?
My dad and my brother Marshall, they've been helping me a lot these couple of days.
Well, congratulations to you. Well done, sir. Win in your second start. Looking forward to good things from you. Blake DeBrow, flammable.
And fans, coming up next, we've got the most powerful vehicles on the property. We've got the light modifieds. And kicking off the class out of Litchfield, Kentucky, the tag team, Chase Richardson.
Starting second, driving underestimated from Mount Dora, Florida, Jeremy Smith.
Up next, out of Jerseyville, Illinois, the Hush Money, Mitchell Phipps.
Starting fourth from Shelbyville, Indiana, playing the super sub in corporal punishment, Renee Theobald.
Coming out of Warsaw, Kentucky, the defending Grand National champion pilot in the Kentuckian, Wayne Sullivan.
Last night, this man got his first ever Grand National win from Greenwich, Ohio, driving outclassed Chase Smith.
Up next, fans, out of Lawrenceburg, Indiana, the feisty farmer, Terry Feist.
And starting last, Johnny Payne from Shandon, Ohio, driving Limitless.
And fans, we're going to come up right now, and we're going to talk to one of our newest Grand National winners on the circuit, Chase Smith. Chase, last night you got the job done. 1 week ago we saw third in Zellwood. You've had quite a pretty impressive southern swing.
Yeah, it's been pretty good, hasn't it?
Absolutely. Now, what about the draw here tonight? We see you're kind of somewhat in the middle of the field here.
I can't think anybody better to watch than Papa Sullivan. So.
Yeah, watch the defending Grand National champion. Fans, Chase Smith, Grand National winner one night ago, his first ever.
Our next class of drivers, the Biotech Innovations Pro Stock 4.1, starting first from Ellsworth, Wisconsin, driving Hyper Harvester, Kevin Lindström.
Coming down out of Worthington, Minnesota, pilot of the Special Edition, Steve Bousma.
From Bucyrus, Ohio, with a beautiful John Deere 5020, Jerry Martin.
All the way out of Blaine, Maine, the Strawberry Thunder, Massey Ferguson, James Hodem.
From Tripoli, Iowa, driving the Instigator John Deere, Bill Figgenbaum.
Out of Jefferson, Wisconsin, the running in the red, Tom Gallett.
Driving the WisconsinSurplus.com, digging for a living from Hollandale, Wisconsin, Chris Ashleyman.
Out of Crestline, Ohio, the Buckeye Gambler, Casey Neese.
The second tractor out of the Basma Stables from Worthington, Minnesota, with limited edition, Mike Bousma.
Pilot in the all bucked up out of Marshfield, Wisconsin, Dwayne Bauer.
With the Smoking Eagle case from Pierce, Nebraska, Carter Anderson.
And coming to us out of Wapakoneta, Ohio, the replacement deer, Todd Schneider.
From Lawrenceburg, Tennessee, with the plow tractor 4.1, Stephen Long.
Behind the wheel, the plow tractor 4.1, Lawrenceburg, Tennessee. He calls home Stephen Long.
From Lower Oxford, New Brunswick, the Under Pressure International of Logan Thomas.
And fans, last but certainly not least, his second tractor of the night out of Helenville, Wisconsin, running red hot, we've got Tom Gallett.
And then our winner from last night out of Marengo, Iowa, the Dig and Bone, and Brian Miller. Brian, a very long week for you to get back into this. When I saw you yesterday, I asked you about it. You said you're committed to the championship and you got to do what it takes.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I had a hell of a crew that took the tractor back to Iowa. Denny Healy ambush, engine and dyno got us all fixed up. We made it back here. We laid down a nice run. We're just super blessed to be doing what we're doing down here with the competitors we have. It's been an amazing Southern swing.
You're now in some pretty elite company as being a Grand National winner in the very first season for 4.1s with NTPA. What does it mean to you to be a part of that?
It means a lot. Like I said last night when I was thanking people, I thanked NTPA for giving us this opportunity. I think we showed up in full force, and it's pretty special to get your first Grand National win on the Southern swing.
Absolutely. Congratulations to you, sir. Dig and Bone, Brian Miller, looking to double up here tonight and become the first two-time winner in 4.1s.
And fans, the last class of the night, of course, the wildest ride in motorsports, the 2,050-pound mini-modified tractors. Kicking off the class out of Paris, Ontario, the Bull Hauler Gray, going to be Butch Poland.
Starting second in Carolina, night train number 2 from Tar Heel, North Carolina, Cody Singletary.
Out of Washington, Pennsylvania, the short fuse, we got Lindsey Campbell.
Driving Lil Wicked out of Shelbyville, Indiana, Grant Theobald, first of 3 for the family.
Up next out of Bucyrus, Ohio, the Razor's Edge, Cody Edwards.
From Peyton, Iowa, the Iron Toy, Adam Bauer.
Coming down out of Clinton, North Carolina, Just Ask. He calls the tractor Holt Strickland.
From Sac City, Iowa, driving the Slingshot. Please welcome Troy Arndt.
Once again, part of that Wicked team. This time, Wicked out of Shelbyville, Indiana, Mason Theobald.
From Thetford, Ontario, Canada, with triple play, double or nothing, David Lacey.
Up next, fans, out of St. George, Ontario, the full throttle, we got Ryan Morrison.
From DeWittville, Quebec, Canada, with Off the Rails, John Van Horn.
His second ride of the night out of Tar Heel, North Carolina, the Carolina Night Train, Cody Singletary.
Last night's winner from Washington, Pennsylvania, with wild card, Kevin Campbell.
Once again, out of Paris, Ontario, this time the Bull Hauler Green, going to be Butch Poland.
Starting number 16 from Shelbyville, Indiana, with Pretty Wicked, Renee Theobald.
And fans, our final tractor in the class out of Litchfield, Kentucky, the Bush Light Vibrator Chase Richardson. And fans, at this time, we're going to go up and have a word here. Kevin Campbell, last night's big winner on the circuit. And Kevin, career win number 2 in the minis. Tell us about that run last night.
Well, you know, it was a nice run. It was the first one for us, or for myself this year. And, yeah, just getting back into it. Felt good. We're ready to go again for tonight.
Everything good to go, of course, the team, you and your wife, a top 5 finish for the whole team. That was pretty impressive.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, she did a nice job towards the end of the class there. It got a little more difficult for the class. But, yeah, we're happy to be here, happy to be able to, put down a few more runs tonight.
Absolutely. Fans, let's give all our mini modified competitors a nice round of applause.
Ladies and gentlemen, those of you watching at home on Full Pool Live, as we prepare to get ready for this awesome night, this beautiful weather, the awesome competition going to take place on this track, we just want to take a moment to say thank you and pay respect to our veterans. Any veterans in the crowd, if you would, please rise. Please come to your feet. If able to do so, if not, please raise your hand. Ladies and gentlemen, give these men and women a round of applause. Police officers, firefighters, first responders, stand up alongside them. We owe you a great debt of gratitude for keeping us safe in this country, for keeping us free for 250 years now in the United States of America, keeping us safe and free throughout the world, throughout our country, and in our communities. So thank you very much to our veterans, our police officers, firefighters, and first responders. Seems to be. Kyle. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing performing our invocation tonight. Please bow your heads. From Milford, Nebraska, Mr. Kyle Petch.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for the blessing of this day and the opportunity to gather together as a community of competitors, officials, workers, and fans. We ask for your protection over every driver and machine on the track tonight. Keep each competitor safe as they give their all, and may the spirit of good sportsmanship and respect be a part of every pole. We lift up the track officials and workers, those behind the scenes who make these events possible. Grant them clear minds, steady hands, and safety in all that they do. And Lord, we thank you for the fans, for their energy, support, and enthusiasm that brings life to every event. May this evening be filled with joy, excitement, and memories made with family and friends. Watch over us all, guide us with your wisdom, deliver everyone home safely, and bless this event from start to finish. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. From Olathe, Kansas, Mr. Ron Stone.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, once again, a nice round of applause again here for Ron Stone. And we got to ask Satsuma, Florida, are you guys ready to feel the power tonight? Oh, come on. You guys can do a lot better than that. You guys ready to feel the power tonight?
Well, we're going to bring it to you right directly. We get our drivers off the track. Craig Dickey is already in Kelman's Killer 3, ready to go on the grandstand side.
Guys, it's time to kick the tires and light the fires. Let's go truck and tractor pulling here in Satsuma, Florida. Going to see some of the best in the business here tonight.
Well, guys, the fans are ready. The pullers are ready. We're ready. Let's get it on.
From Iowa. Are you ready, buddy, on the finish line? Harold's ready on the finish. And 4, John Myers, Minnesota. How about you? John is ready. Dickie Freeman, North Carolina. Freeman's ready. Roger. Jeremy Bramer from Illinois. Ready. How about you, Darren Balmer, Brookville, Indiana? Yes, sir, I'm ready. Some Kyle Petch from Nebraska. I'm ready. Awesome. How about you, Jay Bundy, Minnesota on the laser? How about you? All ready. All right, I got thumbs up from the sled operators, guys. Just have a good time. Thanks, everybody, for a good 2 weeks. Let's get her done.
Well, welcome once again, pulling fans, to Satsuma, Florida, the 2026 NTPA Southern Swing, the official kickoff. The Grand National Pulling Circuit. Get ready, buckle up, and witness the ultimate battle of heavyweights. As, of course, we're live streaming to the world right here on Full Pull Live. Once again, I'm Dan Mayer, joined by Charles Posch. We'll have Ron Stone down trackside. And, Charles, it's shaping up to be an absolutely epic Saturday night here in Satsuma.
I am looking forward to it. We've got our lineups, have been able to spend some time studying them and chat with all of our competitors and sort of understand where they're at with their program. Of course, a lot of them aren't going to necessarily tell us the truth, but there's a genuine sense of excitement throughout this pit area. We got a packer going back and forth. A few more swipes at it. Look at where Craig Dickey has spotted Cummins Killer 3 way over on the left-hand side. Again, they work this dirt over there a lot all day long, trying to change the characteristics of it. And he has placed his machine out there. Full tube frame, carbon fiber, GMC body over the top of an all-billet aluminum, triple turbocharged Duramax, 460 cubic inch, making beyond 3,500 horsepower. A past Grand National champion with this truck, most recently in 2024. The carbon fiber repop body that is on there, it is so detailed that it actually includes weld seams that would exist in the OEM parts stamped by General Motors. He's starting to feed the RPMs into it. Here we go. Satsuma, get on your feet for our Hot Shot Secret Test Pass. Oh, it sneezes on him. They had to work on this truck after last night. They had the exhaust gasket between the pedestal and the high-pressure turbocharger turbine housing blow out of it. That was the sparks that we saw. They pulled the chargers off, replaced that gasket, and have it ready to go here for our Powered by Science test hook.
You want to talk about high tech on these vehicles, Charles? You were mentioning that carbon fiber body on this truck. It's about $35,000 worth of carbon fiber body there. Only weighs about 400 pounds, and it needs no structural stability at all. A fiberglass body, you need a structure. It's very heavy. The carbon fiber is very strong and stands up to the rigors and the abuse taken out here on the pulling track.
And the doors themselves do function. And on the interior, you can look up inside. Well, they got the body raise. You can look in there. They do have the door actuators from OEM GM parts that are in, whether it's bonded in or bolted into that carbon fiber, but they function correctly. And there are a total of 3 of those carbon fiber GMC bodies here on the property this weekend. So out comes the tow vehicle. We're going to get a drop from Craig Dickey out of the Powered by Science test position from our friends at Hot Shot Secret.
All right, fans, over here on the modified side. 1 week ago, down in Zellwood, Florida, this tractor was a winner. Chase Richardson, second-generation puller out of Litchfield, Kentucky, as he comes in here tonight. Modified competition. 6,200 pounds will be the maximum weight of these tractors. You're only allowed 2 of those big Hemis on these tractors, but we're talking 6,000 horsepower in the track here tonight, and it's going to be a good one, as we've got 8 of the top tractors in the nation ready to battle it out here tonight.
He's going to the left of center start position. That seemed to be kind of common on this pit side track. Chase back in the controls. Daddy Dave down here to look on.
All right, fans, slack out of the chain. Here we go. Our first modified of the night. You got little ones, cover their ears because it's going to get loud.
All new this weekend with Motion Raceworks sponsorship on Tag Team.
Dirt right there, fans. Chase Richardson And the tag team entry out of the state of Kentucky. Now going to be a big decision here whether or not going to take or turn down that run. Of course, here is our Hot Shot Secrets powered by Science Test Pool here over on the modified side. All right, so Chase Richardson coming off the track here. We'll get the numbers in here for him, fans. Of course, we got the laser set up at the end of the track. And we'll talk about that in just a little bit here as we bring out our next super stock diesel truck.
Next up's going to be out of Bloomingdale, Ohio. The trencher of Jeremy Yeager finished in the third spot last night with this Cummins-powered Chevrolet-bodied truck. And he's going to be fairly close to where Craig Dickey was in terms of starting position selection. As he gets back into place, Richardson teams studying replays perhaps and try to make a decision there.
All right, fans, so pull distance comes up at 295.42, 295.42 for Chase Richardson, fans. Let's give him a nice round of applause. He gets his helmet off here tonight. Our number one hook here in the light modified class. All right, fans, so it looks like word from trackside. We got a thumbs up there, Chase Richardson, after that run of 295.42. As our Hot Shot Secrets test poll here tonight over on the modified side. It looks like we're ready to go back trucking. We got to ask, we got any Chevrolet fans out there tonight? Where's our Chevrolet fans?
Hello. Nice ride for Jeremy Yeager. All of these guys in the Super Stock Diesel truck, they were trying to pull power away from their machinery and adjust to atmospheric conditions, especially when it came to the water injection. It was changing so fast last night as the temperature plummeted and the humidity went up. We were losing air density, altitude. We were falling into the mine shaft really, really fast. About every couple of minutes, it was losing a lot. Spins it in, a little fire show from wet stacking out of the turbochargers where it builds up some extra fuel and then doesn't harm anything, just looks kind of cool.
Guys, I'm becoming more and more of a fan every time I watch these super stock diesel trucks. These trucks are angry, my friends. I love watching it.
They definitely are, and I'm looking forward to the heart of this summer when there's opportunities where certain places we might be able to put. Could we put 50 on the property at any one time, perhaps Bowling Green?
Yeah, that would be an all-time record right there. We saw last year down at Bowling Green set a record for entries down there. But, yeah, definitely one of the most popular classes and on the rise as we go throughout the United States and Canada.
Usually new ones get built quite frequently. .350, 338, 353, 38 for Jeremy Yeager. He's going to keep it. That will put him in to the Powered by Science Full Pull Cub. Every time a driver gets beyond the specified full pull distance at any given venue, today it's 350 feet, they will be a part of the full pull zone, and he or she, at the end of the season with the most trips there, is eligible for a $1,000 bonus from our friends at Hot Shot Secret.
Yeah, always nice little bit of cash in the back pocket. Now, fans, over on the infield side, we've got a situation right now. We're going to reset that weight transfer machine. We're going to lighten things up a little bit. Now, you just saw Chase Richardson make his pass out there with the tag team tractor. Well, he's bringing it right back around into that number one spot. He says, hey, I want first shot at that track. That is his option as a test puller. So fans, take a look up at the big screen. You'll see him making his way around the racetrack here. Now he's when they get that sled set And they will have 3 minutes to get to that weight transfer machine. So they got to move kind of quickly down there. So keep your eye on Chase as they make their way here to the starting line.
Guys, during today's event, vehicles going beyond 350 feet will be entering the Hot Shot Secret Powered by Science Full Pull Zone. We'll be tallying the numbers of Powered by Science Full Pulls this season, with the competitor with the most receiving a $1,000 bonus at the end of the season from a Hot Shot Secret.
Hey, fans, so we're going to move along here. Super Stock Diesel Truck Competition. Now, Charles, yesterday we talked about one of the youngest winners in NTPA competition. We got another one of our young guns on the starting line.
Yeah, Trip Hazley, third-generation driver who has studied at the foot of the master. Grandpa Van Hazley, he was asked by Shane Kellogg to drive Trump, the defending champion truck, on the Super Stock Tour, and he said yes. So he came down here with Dad Kurt, ran the truck last night, had a top run with it, and then hoping for another great run out of it here tonight, and then they're going to load everything up, and they're going to drive the whole rig back home.
Yeah, back home up there to Indiana, of course, where they're from, and, of course, Ohio, where Shane Kellogg's from. Of course, Van Hazley's grandfather, the Godfather, we call him, of Super Stock Diesel Truck Pulling. I know he's watching back at home at White Fatty as Tripp gets ready to go. Excellent run last night. We saw him in that number 2 spot. Let's see if he can duplicate it here tonight.
He was pretty excited about it, and was watching with him this afternoon some of the other stuff we had going on. We had 2 diesel 2-wheel drive trucks, and I was standing there watching with Tripp and Ryan DeBro, and when the first one went down the track, when it was done, all these Super Stock Diesel truck guys were out at the end of their trailers smiling, thinking that's cool. Well, now I hope those guys are here. It's their turn to think this is pretty cool. Here we go with the young man, Tripp Hazley. We're going to have a new leader. This is going to be a big distance class in Super Stock Diesel Truck. Put another one in the Powered by Science Full Pull Club.
And Charles, hard to believe, only the second time that he's been behind the wheel of this truck. Now, yesterday when he got here, they arrived early yesterday morning, got to the track, and Tripp kind of sat in the truck. He says, man, I don't fit in this truck. He's a little short. Shane that owns the truck, he's a taller guy, about 6'4" or so. And they got a couple pillows behind him, got him comfortable, and you can see.
Yeah, he said the biggest issue for him really was not getting far enough forward where he could reach the pedals. Shane likes to have that kind of recliner-style position of the seat, and for him, he's like, it's uncomfortable, a little bit unnatural for me, and it makes it hard for me to see over the hood, but they got it figured out, and what a great rip right there for the Trump truck.
Yeah, fans, take a look up at the big screen here. We'll get the numbers in for you.
355.145, your new leader. 355.145, Tripp Hazley to the lead.
And fans, just a reminder, we do have some open seats. Those folks coming in a little bit late looking for seats. We do have some seats down here at the end of the track, so make your way down here towards turn 4 of the old racetrack. We got some open seats here in the bleachers. Here about that 380 mark or so, as we got Chase Richardson firing back up. Now, once again, we've lightened up that weight transfer machine a little bit. We want to give you fans the best possible show out there. So we want to get these tractors out around 320, 340, where we'd like to ideally have them. So Chase Richardson got the tractor all refueled, ready to go. He's strapped back in. Actually, they're just finishing up fuel in there as we see some of his buddies there, led by Chad Mayhill, as they refill this tractor ready to go.
And we'll go back to the high side where we expect, and yes, it is Nick Gillette out of Astoria, Ohio, with a top shelf Ford-bodied Cummins-powered machine. Everybody in these classes this year is eligible for extra prize money as being a part of the Galaxy Tour. And for the diesel super stock trucks, that includes Fair Valley Performance, a proud supporter of the National Tractor Pullers Association. FVP serves the diesel truck and tractor pulling industry with the best injection pumps and injectors on the market. Visit fvpdiesel.com for more.
And fans, take a look on the big screen. You'll see a teammate out there, Jesse Petro, making a fuel adjustment on the Chase Richardson tractor. So they're up against the gun here. They're working kind of feverishly down there, getting ready to go. And we'll have that run here after Nick Gillette makes his run here tonight. Of course, the Gillettes earlier this week, they went alligator hunting down here in Florida and came up with quite a take-home in that department.
As you do.
How about it? We got any Ford fans out there tonight? Where are the Ford fans?
Green lights are up. Green flags are flying for Nick Gillette and Top Shelf. Finished number 4 last night. Got the hop settled out of it. I am not going to guess this one. He's going to be right there at 350 plus, I got to believe, with the other two.
Yeah, absolutely. Hats off to our sled crew here tonight. They have got it on the mark. Josh Morgan, great job as he pilots that red sled out there here tonight. And, you know, you give these sled operators a little bit of opportunity here with this different dirt, and they'll get things sorted out, no doubt.
This takes a little bit of time and patience, and they'll get it. Gillette, another one of those that was looking to take water away from the power plant and try to derate things a little bit. They said they did that last night. They found more power. They were going to go after it again and change the setup for tonight. We'll see what the numbers are going to be here for Nick Gillette.